I believe that we must be suspicious of legal classifications based solely on sexual orientation.
This is just the latest in what's been a string of bold moves from Holder on a number of critical issues. Let's discuss what's going on with our senior legal analyst, Jeffrey Toobin. He's the author of the book, The Oath, the Obama White House and the Supreme Court. How unusual, Jeffrey, is it for an attorney general of the United States to tell these state attorneys generals what they need to do?
Well, it's not unprecedented, but it is certainly unusual, and it's in keeping with the way Holder has been acting over the past six months or so. You know, President Obama said he wants his administration to take action with or without Congress. And what you see Holder doing in area after area is just that. Now, in some of these areas, he can't force these attorneys general to defend same-sex marriage, but he can urge them, and that's what he's doing.
How does all this play into Holder's legacy as Attorney General of the United States?
Well, he's been quite clear that he thinks that gay rights are the civil rights struggle of today. And, he comes out of the civil rights movement. I just wrote a New Yorker article about him. And, all over his office are totems from the civil rights movement, Robert F. Kennedy's portrait in the 60s. And he clearly thinks that gay rights is the cause of today. And also civil rights, traditional civil rights. He has sued North Carolina and Texas to try to undo their changes that make voting harder there. So, he is pushing the envelope much more than he did in President Obama's first term to leave a legacy on civil rights and gay rights. But, it's not all up to him. The courts and other politicians have to agree with them. So that's a big qualification.
It certainly is. So where do you see all of this going? Will these state attorneys general go ahead and, in effect, disregard the law of their respective states if they feel it's discriminatory?
Well, the Attorney General of Virginia just did it, which was a pretty significant move, and we know that the Federal District Court in Virginia then struck down the ban on same-sex marriage. My guess is the Democratic Attorney Generals will take this as a green light, as a permission to do what the Attorney General in Virginia did. I can't see Eric Holder persuading one Republican Attorney General to make that change. But, it's a political act, and Eric Holder is a political appointee, and he's using the powers of persuasion, and some will be persuaded and some won't.